This is the regular meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission. Today is January 16th, 2020. Seeing that there is a quorum, this meeting is officially called to order. Please rise and pledge for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Recording Secretary, please take roll call.
Commissioner Andres.
Present.
Commissioner Shaw.
Present.
Commissioner Garcia.
Here.
Commissioner Oliva.
Here.
Commissioner Oliver. Here. And for the record, Commissioner Sierra is absent.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday and New Year. It's been a little while since we've all met. Getting to business here, let's go ahead with the consent calendar. So this is time for the commission to consider matters under consent calendar, which are items number 1 and 2. Do any members have any corrections to the minutes, items they wish to pull for separate discussion or abstain on? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion to consider items 1 and 2?
Motion. I second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and all those opposed, say no. Okay, the matter is approved by unanimous consent. So we have 2 work studies for today. Please note that there will be no motion or action taken on these items. The first item on the work study session calendar is the presentation of the review panel recommendations for the Willits and Sullivan art installation. And the second will be the work study session the second item on the work study session calendar is the reporting out of the mural policy subcommittee. So,
Thank you, Chair Cha. Good evening, commissioners. As you see in front of you is the presentation for the public art installation at Willits and Sullivan Beautification Project. On the first page is listed the panelists who reviewed all the applications. There were 4 applications total. There are 5 panelists. Montserrat Alberto, she's an artist and resident of Santa Ana. Rosa Garcia, who is our very own Arts and Culture Commissioner. Pat Gomez, LA County Arts Department Public Arts Manager. Deanne Katayama, Abraham Lincoln Elementary School Vice Principal. And Susie Fergenik, who is the Associate Park and Landscape Planner for the City of Santa Ana. On the next page are the scores that the panelists gave for each of the applications. And as you can see, the first artist, Carly Straka, was the clear highest score. And so she received the recommendation from the panel for this project, receiving a total of $18,000 for her public artwork. And on the final page is the proposal, her proposal for the public art to be installed there. And you also see I gave you a separate page with the artwork blown up a little larger so that you can see some of the details. A few things have been changed based on the recommendations of the panel. For example, she initially proposed multicolor butterflies, but then the panel and I had discussed with her that it would be preferable to have monarch butterflies consistently because they represent the monarchs that fly through North America and that go from North America go from the U.S. up to Canada and then back down to Mexico. So that's very relevant and meaningful for the community in that area. So these butterflies will be have more the likeness of a monarch butterfly. And so the artist agreed to that. They will be 5 to 6 of these sculptures, ranging in size of 8 feet by 8 feet to 2 feet by 2 feet. They'll have a concrete foundation with tiles from that will be created or decorated by the students from the elementary school across the street in Abraham Lincoln Elementary School. So they will create and design these tiles, which the artist will then place onto the concrete foundation. And then there would be a pathway through the garden as well, so that folks can go through and take photos, social media photos, and all of that to help promote the city and the beautification project itself. Any questions, commissioners? Yes.
What about lights?
Yes, our office will be providing lights. We will be working with a separate contractor, and the artist will not be responsible for that, but we needed to confirm the design first, and then we'll bring in the contractor to design the lights around that.
And do we know what the cost would be?
At this moment, I don't know the exact cost yet, but I will update everybody as soon as because we haven't designed the lights yet, so we don't know exactly.
Okay, thank you.
But that's a good question, because it does need to be lit. We
Yes.
insisted that it be lit so that, number one, it illuminates the beauty of the artwork, and secondly, it deters, hanging around and things like that. Yeah, vagrancy.
So then there is a budget that has been someone set aside for this
Correct.
particular
There's
project?
a separate budget for the
Okay.
lights.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have another question. Is the color of the butterflies mixed into the cement or painted on the cement?
It's mosaic. So
Oh,
it'd
it's a
be-
mosaic on
It's
the-
glass, yes.
Okay.
That would be.
I was just
pressed
worried
on.
about graffiti.
Yes, exactly. We were too. And that's why we insisted on materials that would be easily cleaned,
Yeah.
such as mosaic and tile.
Yeah.
And it's easier to clean.
Thank you.
Will the city also be doing some sort of landscaping in that area?
There's already landscaping there, but we will work with Public Works to clean it up and clear the area for these sculptures to be placed.
Anyone else?
I have another question. When is it expected to be in place?
The agreement is for 1 year from when she signs, and we're meeting with her tomorrow and to go over the agreement and all. So hopefully she'll sign it by tomorrow, then it'll start from there.
About a year from now?
About a year,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Does any other commissioner have any other comments or questions? No? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tram. So going on to the second item on our work study session calendar, which is the mural policy subcommittee. I think the last time that we were here in October, we had discussed some of the work that had been done up and through October that had not yet been quite completed. I think we extended it to report out again, in January. So we have met, let's see, we meaning me, Commissioner Olivas, Sierra, with also the assistance of Tram. And we do have a working policy that's been drafted. I believe Mark has also had a chance to take a look at it. There are some, I think, legal questions that maybe the city could potentially address for us, such as maybe limitations or disclaimers on what may or may not be appropriate for content for a piece of public art, obscenity, discrimination. I don't know if we have language like that or if that's something that we need to come up with, but that's, I know one thing that we had identified should probably be in the policy.
We don't have any specific language I can think of that would be required to be placed in there, but certainly we can look into that. We can work on that with you. I haven't seen any of this yet, so I can't comment on any specifics, but certainly as part of the process, I would be reviewing anything that you provide, and I can help with any legal language that you think would be helpful or appropriate.
Yeah, because I think in our discussions, you know, we wanted to make sure that any mural that the city were to be somehow associated with is not going to, you know, maybe violate any bad messaging. The other thing also was we would need to have, I think, your office probably take a look to make sure that we're not overstepping on city, you know, city authority or jurisdiction. So I think, so those are some, I think, questions that have come up potentially for your office. In terms of the comments, we are actually having a town hall on February 5th, Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Delhi Center. And that's basically going to be an invitation for members of the public to maybe come and talk about what they would like to see in a mural policy, what, you know, questions or concerns. Because again, this policy that we have is just a working draft. And so we'd like to get some feedback from the public and see if maybe there's anything appropriate to incorporate. And then from February to March, I think once we have a more final version of the draft, it's going to be, we're going to be requesting comments back from Public Works, Santa Ana PD, and one other PBA, planning and building, and then get their input, and also have our commissioners talk to our respective council members about, you know, having this policy implemented. And then the plan is to present in March for a final vote on the final draft. So at that point, I think it would be then submitted to the Community Development Executive Director to be presented to the city manager. So if everything goes well, without any glitches, hopefully we'll have a policy in place before the summer. Does Commissioner Olivas, would you like to add to?
Yeah, of course. The only comment I would like to give is that these are guidelines for what the policy, for what we believe the policy should look like. So it's no legal paper just yet, but we hope to have it in place by the summer.
Oh, and I think one other thing too is that these guidelines are primarily directed for murals that will involve some sort of city funding. And there are guidelines for private murals on private property. Obviously, we can't really regulate or police those, but to the extent that there's maybe grants that are being given or some sort of, whether it's documentation to kind of record the existence of the mural in an official catalog or whatever, that these would most likely be part of a policy for the city itself that would be maybe attached to some grants, you know, as part of the required language or whatnot. So just wanted to make that distinction that we're not telling private citizens what to do on their private property.
And it would just act more as a best practices for the private properties, you know, like what should you consider?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Any of our commissioners have any questions or comments? Okay, so then I think we're finished with our work study session. Does the
Public comments on agenda item number 2.
two? Okay, so I was, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we had 2 items. Number 4, okay. I'm so sorry. I think we have actually one more thing that we need to discuss, potentially, which is the reporting out of the commissioners of the city council. No, I'm on the wrong agenda. Oh, sorry, wrong agenda. Okay, so it looks like we do have a public comment from Manny Escamilla.
Well, thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Appreciate the time to talk on this item, and I think that you actually addressed some of the concerns that I had initially with the mural policy, is making sure that we do only regulate public walls and the procedures that the city is going to kind of use moving forward for public funding, because one of my big concerns with any kind of mural policy is that it'll have an unintended chilling effect on local mural production. So I think one of the reasons why the city of St. Anne has so many murals and why we're so lucky to be part of this artistic hub is because people on their private property can create murals. So I know earlier my understanding was there was talk about regulating potentially private walls, and I think that would have the unintended consequence of reducing the number of murals that are created in the city. So I know like other places like Anaheim actually charge upwards to $6,000 for any kind of mural permit, and that's just because of the way that they approve any kind of art in the public right-of-way. So I just want to, again, I think that that's a really great direction when we're maybe talking about best practices, figuring out how city funding is going to go into distributing walls. I think that's all really great stuff for the public mural policy, but definitely if there's anything we can do to make sure that private citizens, private businesses can continue to create art without city interference, I think that that's going to be the best practice overall. And with your permission, Chair, I would like to make one comment on the previous item, if possible.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I just think that it's a really great art project, and in regards to the landscaping, if possible, to have milkweed, so things that actually kind of provide food for the monarch butterflies, as a recommendation from the body.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And I would also invite you to maybe come to our town hall on
No, I
February
definitely will
6th.
be there.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, do we have any other members of the public that wish to make a comment? All right. Does the staff have any comments that they would wish to share with the commission?
Yes, I'd like to update commissioners on what we've been, major projects we've been doing. First of all, we are extending the HeartLink art program at the Link, at the homeless shelter, for another 6 months because it's been so successful. The constituents love it. They've created beautiful, meaningful artwork. I think I've shared some of that with you. And I will be sharing the final first 6 months report out to you, too. Secondly, we've restarted the utility box art. Gabby and I have been working hard to do it with two parts. The first one is cleaning up and touching up the existing art boxes already, the ones that have had some kind of markings and vandalism on it. So we're offering to offer the artists who painted those boxes a stipend to clean it up and retouch it, or an option to do that. If they do not wish to clean up their boxes, then, and if it is heavily marked up, then we would paint over it and then add that to the pool of boxes to for new artists to paint. So the second part would be the new boxes to paint. There are already 11 boxes identified along South Main, and that one will be funded by Public Works. We're partnering with them to do this, and then we're looking at potentially 11 more boxes around the city that Arts and Culture Office will be funding. So there's potentially up to possibly 22 boxes, new boxes that will be painted, in addition to whatever is existing already.
And will those be spread out among the different wards?
We're looking at main corridors.
Okay.
We're not looking into residential areas at the moment. So we'd like it to be accessible and to drive more traffic towards areas so they can start looking at it. And then so would bring more traffic down to South Main for people to look and shop there, let's say, rather than driving into neighborhoods at this time.
Oh, I didn't mean neighborhoods, I just meant.
Oh, throughout those 6
throughout
wards,
the
yeah.
wards, yeah.
But we're hoping to have it where it'll be consistent along a corridor so that people can drive and see all the different boxes rather than having to drive to another ward and then just to see one-off boxes. We already did that in the first 3 phases. We spread it out already.
Okay.
So now we're focusing on different streets. So Main Street is one of the of the streets that we're focused on. Any more questions regarding that particular project? Okay. And then finally, we are partnering with Segerstrom Center for the Arts to provide an all-day professional development workshop at Delhi on Saturday, April 4th. It will be all day from 10 in the morning till 4 in the evening of different art topics. We haven't confirmed that yet, so once that's confirmed, I'll present that to everybody. And that will be free to the public. But it will include things like, again, grant writing or marketing yourself, even just different issues in the artist community. Yes.
I have a question about the electric boxes. Are you paying artists?
Yes, we're paying artists.
And how much are you paying them?
$400 for new boxes, new paint, or new designs, and to clean up, we are offering, is it 200? Yeah, 200.
Yeah.
200 to clean up and retouch.
And besides Main, have you identified any other major street?
I think Bristol is another corridor we're looking at. Bristol, Maine, and what's the third one?
North Main
Yeah.
to attract people to South Main. So by extending it to North Main, hopefully then that will draw people towards South Main to visit the commerce there.
Yeah.
How many are existing now?
20.
About 20?
20, about 20 boxes.
And then
yeah.
22 new ones?
Correct.
Awesome, okay.
And some of the 20 boxes may, there's some artists who've said they don't mind having it painted over for a new artist to paint. So that could be added to the pool
Will
too.
you guys take photos of it so we can have it in the
Yes,
archives?
we've taken
Awesome.
before photos, and then after. Yeah,
Perfect.
then when they're done, we'll have the after photos.
Excellent.
So we've cataloged all of it. We made sure to do that.
Have it in our history.
Okay, thank you, Trim. So moving on to commissioner member comments. Commission members, please note that no member may speak more than once until all have had an opportunity to speak. Also, the commission may vote to limit our comments to 3 minutes each if we feel the need. So I guess we'll just go down the line. Commissioner Oliver?
Oh, okay. I was wondering, is the city planning to charge a permit for murals?
At this time, not yet. We're
Okay.
going to start first, as Commissioner Oliver had said, Commissioner Olivia had said that we're going to start with the guidelines first, and then get feedback from that, and then move on to more regulations later. And plus, because it would require additional staffing and resources.
So the question is really sort of open at this point? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why we've not really gone down the discussion of permits is because then there needs to be some sort of an enforcement mechanism, which the city really does not have the capacity to do right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Commissioner Garcia?
No comment.
Commissioner Oliver?
Just clarification of the town hall, what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. That's it.
Will there be burritos?
Did you say burritos again? If you request it.
No, I'm just, I can't. I have nothing. So I guess for now, the meeting is adjourned, and our regular meeting is scheduled for February 20th at 5:30 p.m., and I hope to see our commissioners there for the town hall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.